Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lesson 13. I can hardly believe that we're already at this point in the semester, but here we are in our last complete normal week. You'll see that next week's a little bit different, but I hope that you've enjoyed the journey as much as I have. And to help you in this final week where we're finishing up our last paper, I have some tips on proofreading that I want to share with you. So, as a reminder, we did go over some of this in Lesson 5, but let's talk a little bit about why we proofread. We proofread because it's an essential part of the writing process and one of the best ways to improve your writing. Removing an error from your paper is kind of like removing an obstacle that could keep your audience from reaching your message. And you really can proofread in so many different aspects of your life. If you're at work sending an email, you always want to check over what you're doing to make sure that you look as professional as possible. If you're sending out Christmas cards at the end of the year, you probably want to proofread your message and make sure you're not accidentally misspelling your kid's name or something like that. Just to make sure that you're as polished and ready as possible so that your message gets to your audience. Now, I have gone ahead and made a revised or expanded proofreading checklist for you because when we talked about this verse in lesson 5, we hadn't gone over as much. But here at the end of the semester, you've learned so much and you've come so far, and that means we have a little bit more to proofread. So let's go ahead and breeze through some of this together real quick. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this to the announcement so that you can download it and use it to help yourself as you proofread your essay. And then you can feel free to save this from the announcement because it might be helpful to you in future semesters because you will continue writing. Now, let's go ahead and go through some of this. Is your paper double spaced? Is it in Times New Roman 12-point font? Does it have an MLA style heading? Do you have an effective title and is it centered on the page? Do you have a complete structure, including an introduction with a thesis, your support, your conclusion? Is your thesis clear? Does it have a topic, opinion, and a why or how? Remember, your thesis is more than just sharing an idea or asking a question or even just answering the prompt. Your thesis is making a claim that you defend throughout the rest of your paper. Now, are the ideas in your body paragraphs clear and easy to understand? Are you indicating what the topic is with the topic sentence at the start? Have you provided attribution and citations for your sources that you're using the ICE method? Remember, that's the introduce, cite, and explain. You want to make sure you're doing that for any external source you use. Have you provided enough evidence as support for your thesis and shown that through the body of your essay? Do you acknowledge the other side of the argument and then swiftly refute it? Is your spelling correct and accurate? Remember, some of those trouble words are accept and accept, or effect and effect, or illusion and illusion. Those tricky words you always want to double check when you're writing. And then, is your capitalization correct? Are you capitalizing at the start of a sentence but not randomly in the middle? You always want to capitalize proper names but not random words. And sometimes we kind of fall into the habit of doing that as we get typing faster and as we want to get our thoughts on paper. So just make sure you're checking for that. Is your punctuation correct? Are your commas in the correct place? Remember, if you read your paper out loud and there's a natural pause, like right there, that's usually going to be an indicator for a comma because a comma is kind of how we denote that break in meaning or that break in the sentence. So double check that, read your paper out loud. I promise it will help even if it feels a little bit odd. Now, does your conclusion echo your thesis and end in an impactful way? This is really your last shot to impart your thesis to your audience and to make an impression on them, to help kind of sway them to remember what you want them to remember. And then finally, have you followed all of the formatting guidelines? Now, this is going to be the double spacing, the having the proper heading, the centered title, the 1-inch margins, Times New Roman 12-point font, meeting the length requirements, all of those things that we've covered for formatting. You want to just one last time before you hit that submit button, check it over and make sure that you have done everything you can to get the best grade possible and to present the best message possible with this paper. Now, if you do that, you should be in really good shape, and I'm honestly not very worried because you have been doing such a wonderful job this semester, and I've been so impressed watching your writing develop as we learn more about how to write in an effective and polished way. Now, real quick, I want to share with you just a quick spiritual thought. This is a quote from President Lorenzo Snow, and he said, "Do not expect to become perfect at once. If you do, you'll be disappointed. Be better today than you were yesterday, and be better tomorrow than you are today." That's really all we can expect. So, whether you're working on your writing and trying to just get the number of errors in your paper down, or whether you're trying to remember to say your prayers each day, as long as you're doing a little bit better each day, then you're on the right track. You're doing it. So I hope that this is helpful to you. I hope this spiritual thought is a little bit uplifting so you're not worried about all the errors that you're seeing and getting discouraged. Just remember that improvement is good. That's what we're seeking for, not so much perfection. We'll get there over time. So, I hope you're having a wonderful week. I look forward to reading your papers, and I thank you for taking the time to watch this. Good luck!